and can't give those assurances, but could he assist my constituents by saying, firstly, when the trial is due to come to an end, and secondly, give assurances that the route to market of a successful vaccine will be as quick as that for dexamethasone?
On the first point, I'm afraid I can't give her the clarity which she understandably seeks on behalf of her constituents, because it's a scientific question. As the rate of new infections has come down, so the clinical trials have had to be a bit longer, because you're trying to prove a negative, that if you've had the vaccine you don't then get the disease. As a result, AstraZeneca have taken this vaccine around the world to put trials in to countries where there is a much higher rate of infection. And the rule with clinical trials is that as soon as a trial comes to a conclusion which is beyond reasonable scientific doubt, then they immediately bring forward the results. So I'm afraid it isn't a trial with a specific end date. It's a trial that runs until it has concluded scientifically one way or the other. I hope that explanation is as good as well, it's not as good as a date, but I hope that people will accept it as much as they might accept a date. On the second point, she's absolutely right. We've been working hand in glove with these brilliant scientists. The MHRA, we should put on the record, Mr. Deputy Speaker, even if I might take an extra 30 seconds to say it, the MHRA have done an amazing job. They have been alongside the scientists. They've made sure that the trials are designed so that they can approve the results as soon as the results come forwards, rather in parallel, essentially, rather than afterwards, which would be the norm and typically the case. They have played a blinder. They are one of the reasons that the UK is at the forefront of this on vaccines and on treatments. That means that, yes, the vaccine will be available as soon as humanly possible, as soon as the science is proven.
Jim Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Can I first of all thank the Secretary of State for his commitment and his dedication? And can the Secretary of State give detail on the difference between reporting statistics which allows someone, in the case of my constituent, who was in end-stage heart failure, had a mild dose of coronavirus, no symptoms, yet cause of death on the birth certificate was noticed as coronavirus, carrying the implication of closed casket and possible misleading statistics? And does the Secretary of State not agree that we need to be clear if someone simply had coronavirus or if someone died directly due to complications from coronavirus?
Yes, teasing out the answer to that question is a very difficult statistical task. The broad point he makes, though, is the right one, which is that we are seeking to tackle this disease of coronavirus, and we should try to measure that. At the same time, of course, we need to continue to tackle all the other diseases, and we need to make sure that the consequences of those diseases are measured properly. This is it's a very significant challenge. It's one that many countries around the world face, and it's why the scientists cast some doubt and scepticism over the over-analysis of international comparisons of deaths data, simply because of just how difficult it is to get this right, as proven by the need to put in place this urgent review after that I put in place last week.
Greg Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. As my right honourable friend knows, if we're to suppress the virus, we need an agile and vigorous response. 6 weeks ago, I asked my right honourable friend to ensure that tests were available to elderly residents, not just of care homes, but to residents of sheltered accommodation and retirement villages. 3 weeks ago, he told me that they would be rolled out in 3 to 4 weeks. So can my right honourable friend confirm whether this has now been completed or will be, at least by the end of the week?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I will bring the answer to this question to my right honourable friend's select committee tomorrow. I had commissioned an answer to precisely this question ahead of that appearance, and I was hoping that my right honourable friend might ask a different question today, but I've been found out.
Caroline Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.